Okay, setting a proper motivation with 3 points. Refuge field, what to visualize and how to visualize. What to visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and the great masters such as Arya Nagarjuna, Bodhisattva Arideva, Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Chandrakshita, and Bodhisattva Shantideva, Lama, the Acharya Kamalashil, Choja Panda Atisha, and his teacher Lama Sedingpa, and Arya Sangha, Acharya Vasubandhu. And some of you may not know who these great masters are, but eventually we must learn who they are. They are all related to the teachings that we are receiving. And how you visualize them, that they are so loving, caring, and embracing. And for the Bodhicitta field, visualize your 2 grandparents and all the sentient beings, your children, and all the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, living on a side with you, even those who are deceased, those who are alive. And here you are like the mother, and all others are like children. And that you are looking at the eyes with so much love and affection, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken the seed of perfection within you, why this seed is not, why we call this as a seed, is because we don't see that. We don't see the perfection within us. It's not because that is in the dominant state meaning that is obscured by something. These obscurations are referred to as the mental obscurations, mental defilements. And there are 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross one is referred to as afflictive obscurations, the presence of which stops us from attaining total fearlessness, technically referred to as nirvana. And the subtle one stops us from attaining infinite happiness, technically referred to as Buddhahood. And when we say Buddhahood, it doesn't mean Buddhism. It's about the full awakening of your potential. And the whole purpose is to learn how to untangle this, unveil this incredibly precious true nature of your mind, so pure, full of wisdom, perfectional love, and perfection of power. So there's whole purpose for us to do that, for activate, unveil this treasure, and imagine that you are leading this practice, and all your dear brothers and joining us, and all the Buddhists and Bodhisattvas are watching us. Page 3. Enthused with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje joda zoge jonamda, janjo baldo dane gyabzo che, yage jinso gebe sonam ge, chola penjire sanje dubare shu. Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam Lai Chanjo Pardo Dani Gyabso Che Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Chola Tenjiri Sanje Chobare Sho Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam Lai Chanjo Pardo Dani Gyabso Che Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Chola Tenjiri Sanje Chobare Sho. And some of these verses, though we may not know the meaning yet, but towards the end of this retreat, we should know these meanings. But we recite them; they are extremely precious. Once you get used to this later on, when we recite them with the meanings reflected, you see that our earlier recitations have a tremendous benefit. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the Supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification and complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths, causes souls helping migrants achieve the aims of the world, and which through possession of help subdue and expound the varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teachers who guard them, protector, to you are my illustrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha are my illustrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I chant the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Hyavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-line and non-composite. Such is the nectar of Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I be obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If You attach to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. And as we recite again, a reminder, the words flow, meanings reflected, and if possible, if you have been practicing the Dhamma for the last 7 years, then the experience is invoked. Whereas if we are a beginner, of course, we can do the first two. Words flow, meanings are reflected. Then you see that the growth is so fast. Growth of your spiritual. I don't want to use the word spiritual too much. Is instead the growth of your mental qualities will be very fast. To the founder, the endowed transcendent and destroyer, the one gone beyond, the four destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the shaggy clan, I persuade, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace our 7 strides, then set him supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path of liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to moral precepts, to you the Son, do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a cloud say conditioned things as such. Through this marriage may sentient beings attain the rank of false seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from Samudras ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Okay, Heart Sutra, page 29. Okay. The Heart Sutra, the Professional Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the irrefutable gem. Thus did I hear at one time, the Buddha was dwelling on massive Valsas mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 gates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara: how shall any child of the lineage who he said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, there's no I element and so on, up to including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There's no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation of path, there is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the 3 times also manifestly completely awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mother of the perfection of wisdom, the mother of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mother that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Deyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravadutishvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravadutishvara, will surround in the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. Deyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha Deyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Bodhi Swaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrance be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, today we'll read page 30 from page 35, 8 verses for training the mind. Page 35, 8 verses for training the mind. It's just 8, and there are 8 verses there. And I'm going to quickly share with you why we are reading this and why this text is very important. So we have the Heart Sutra, meant to cultivate the wisdom, and this 8 verses of mind training primarily for cultivating our compassion. These are 2 wings, for us to cross the ocean of samsara, cross the ocean of limitations, shortcomings, which means cross the ocean of all the mental defilements to reach the state of the full awakening. And for the compassion side, I'm sure that you will agree with me that what forbids or what hinders the compassion from flowing, finally, is not about that, oh, you should be compassionate, otherwise you are being very selfish, and then the Buddha will be very unhappy with you. No, it's not about that. By not being compassionate, we are deprived of happiness. The more compassionate you are, more happy you are. And finally, the secret of the ultimate happiness lies in whether or not you cultivate compassion. So through this reasoning, we come to see that the preciousness of the compassion, where your compassion thrives within you, it takes you far away from all the manifest sufferings. This is extremely precious thing to know. The more we think of these benefits, then we see that, for example, for small reasons, we come across some conflicts, fights between the parents and children, between the siblings, among the siblings, and so forth. When the compassion thrives, then your perception of the world becomes like where you are the mother and all others are the children. When that happens, then the others make a little bit of mistake here and there. You will not feel irritated, and then you become like the one to quell the disturbing situation in the family, in the community, and so forth. And you will see that the people feel very comfortable to be with you. So these are the benefits of compassion. So what is the opposite of compassion? Compassion is the one which embraces everyone closer to you. And what is the opposite force to push others away from you? Anger and the ego. So, 8 verse of mind training, it is primarily to teach us how to, what are the situations which can potentially trigger the anger within you, which can potentially trigger agitation within you and ego within you, and how to subdue them, how to suppress them. So here, people who are reading this for the first time without knowing these background, they may get a wrong impression that this is very self-denial, teaching, self-denial, where you accept the defeat, you give the victory to others, and it's very self-denial. No, it's not this is extremely smart. So here, the way the author said that I will accept the defeat, which means that I am, here is not referring to the I, it's referring to the self-centered attitude. I'm going to defeat the self-centered attitude. How to defeat the self-centered attitude? By cherishing others. By cherishing others, the self-centered attitude defeated, then this I becomes so happy. You're getting it? Finally, what you want is that you want this self to be happy, self to be free from suffering. And why we are not happy is because of the self-centered attitude. So we have to destroy the self-centered attitude, and from this, what we need to distinguish is that the ego, or the self-referential ego, versus the self-confidence. We need to make a distinction between these two things, self-confidence and the self-referential ego. So, what is being referred to here, to deny, to reject, is not the self-confidence, but the self-referential ego. This is to be subdued. Oftentimes, for the ordinary people, what happens is that another mark of the distinguishing what is the ordinary person and what is the evolved person is that the evolved beings, there's somebody in whom the self-referential ego is so less and the self-confidence is extremely high. That is the evolved person. Whereas ordinary people, when the self-confidence is so high, ego also goes up. Ego is also very high. When the ego goes down, self-confidence also goes down. So this is the ordinary person. Evolved beings are the beings who smash this self-referential ego, the ego, but self-confidence is extremely high. So, in other words, encourage self-confidence, discourage self-referential ego. If you can do that, you are a real Dharma practitioner. Okay, so with this in mind, our job, and if you see that yes, that's very true, where the self-confidence grows, my ego also grows. the ego goes down, my self-confidence also goes down. Oh, this is who I am. If this is who you are, don't think that this is your intrinsic nature. This is not your intrinsic nature. Your intrinsic nature is so pure, without ego. And these are all adventitious nature, adventitious qualities. So even these come into existence by dependent origination. So by resorting to the learning, reflection, meditation, and particularly thinking about the demerits of the ego, demerits of the anger and so forth, they automatically, you become very confident, and then reflecting on the merits of cherishing others and the merit of having the self-confidence but not giving into self-referential ego. So reflect more on these, then at times, then your, say, the self-confidence automatically builds up, while self-referential ego, anger, agitation, they will all subside, and you become such a happy person. Your life becomes extremely meaningful. Okay, this says, and you can be an incredibly great role model for your own siblings, for your own parents also. Don't expect that parents should be perfect, and they are not perfect. You're getting it? So oftentimes this is our expectation. That our parents should be perfect, but not perfect, right? This is an example for us. No, now you have encountered with these precious teachings. You should feel compassionate towards your parents that they did not get this opportunity. And how you got this opportunity, of course, no doubt, it is your previous karmic connection. And the poor parents, their connection with the Dharma is only through you. And if you don't take the responsibility of growing yourself and then seeing them like somebody who's deprived of the opportunities, and you are the one who is very meritorious from the past life to be connected with this teaching, that you have the moral responsibility to help your parents, to help your siblings, not to be egoistic, not to be angry, and not to engage in these 10 non-virtuous actions. You should become like a role model for them. And you become so agitated, no, you are behaving like this. And then this is not how you can help others. You should help others only by being a good the role model, that you remain calm, composed, and then the parents, your siblings can see that, oh, under all these situations which for me would have been easily triggered agitation, and look at her, and look at him. So the two are very calm out of these situations. So this is how they will become enthusiastic to learn from you. Okay. Already, page 35. 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe Dorji Damdul. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. May I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have held or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard them still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer a benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may, recognizing all things as illusions, the word of clinging be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast as space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Okay, 7 in practice. This self-explanatory. As I said earlier, we are undertaking a journey, a very courageous, a very noble journey, a journey to perfecting your, or unveiling the precious treasure within you, to unveil this. And you look at the world around you, we see that in fact hardly people are aware of this treasure within themselves. They struggle to look for the happiness, to get away from miseries by looking for external things. to get rid of external things, to bring the external things. But here we are learning how to unveil the treasure from within so that external things won't matter and your happiness is fully in your hands. So for that matter, we require the conducive factors to be gathered to make this happen. And these there are 7 conducive factors which the Buddhas, all the Buddhas, they reflected upon, and they came to this conclusion that these are the 7 factors which will help us to make a journey very fruitful and very successful and very swift. Okay. 7 in practice, excerpt from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samadhi. I bow down to the youthful Aramanjushri, you the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past and future, and the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect and with the many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle of Buddhas, numberless as particles, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite ocean of praise for you and oceans of sound from the expressive voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sagathas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense are offered to you victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high in Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array offered to you victorious ones. The transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger and ignorance, all this I openly bear. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merits of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offerings and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas may teach, stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Mantle offering, page 40. All what you do now, for example, like doing this 7-limb practice, mantle offering, they are meant for what is known as enriching your merits. And the journey requires a lot of merit. And what is merit? This is oftentimes a question that comes to many people. So basically it is like the strength, energy of your mind. Energy of mind. And how many of you got some feeling that when you want to do something like study well or they do meditation, your mind does not have the energy. Although your mind is clear, it's fresh, but it does not have the energy. How many of you sense it? It does not have the energy. It is clear, it is vivid, but it does not have the energy to go further. Resents? Okay, so this is known as the merit. For example, like say, this is very important, this concept. If you don't know this concept, then you see that reciting this every day is just waste of time. No, it's not waste of time. It is actually building the energy of your mind. And again, this is something that we must gain conviction in. Don't just follow blindly. And for example, I remember that one day, and this energy is of 2 kinds. One, physical energy. When the physical energy is drained, although your mind is very fresh, still you cannot meditate. The other one is the mental energy. The physical energy can be drained, but the mental energy can be very powerful. And sometimes for example, the people who does not have the sense of resilience. Some people have a great sense of resilience, right? For example, let's say that say you have to go to a place where there's no proper food, or the situation is so bad, and you have to bear all these difficulties, and then you have the resilience to bear the difficulties. Some people, they don't have the resilience, right? So you go there, and for example, to a simple example that I'd like to give you is that many of us, we may not know what is resilience. Some of you may know, but you have no experience. And the real experience, I'd like to share with you is that and if there are some of you here, people need to know that. Say that Narendra Master's course, when we first launched it, then we started the project of transcribing all the teachings, and we invited volunteers to transcribe. And there were so many volunteers. You're getting it? So many volunteers who came up. And then the job is distributed. In about like 1 week, 2 weeks time, like 90% of volunteers, they dropped. Because it's a very tedious work. 15 minutes teaching, it'll take like 1 hour to transcribe. It's a very tedious work, and then they don't have the mental energy, they dropped. Physical energy they have, mental energy they don't have. You're getting it? They dropped. 99% of the people dropped. Initially, this service to Tibet house, I'm doing service to Tibet house. Please let me know whatever I can do for you. We said, please do transfer. Yes, that's very easy. In 1 week, dropped. Because there's no resilience there. There's a tedious, the work is so tedious, and as you go along, the feeling is very cognitive thought process. You see the complications there, and then you don't want this. Complications, seeing the very nuanced, complicated things there, and take a long time, and you should have. So the feeling generated because of this cognitive thought process, discrimination, feeling is very unpleasant, and is profoundly unpleasant. So you don't want the unpleasant feeling, you quit. 99% of the people quit. You're getting it? If I ask them, okay, can you donate like, say the out of your earning, can you donate like 10%, 20%, 30%? People say, yes, donating is not an issue, it's not a problem. But this work, actually the resilience, it tests your resilience. And the 99% of the people, they dropped. You're getting it? So we think that this is where, so this journey of the spiritual, this journey of enlightenment is a very tedious work. You're getting it? It's a very tedious work. And for example, it's very sun, there's a sun there, we don't get good food, mosquitoes are there. Mosquito, I understand it, it can, give dengue, very complicated. Then it can just ruin your health, and you cannot do any dharma. So that's something that we need to take care of. Otherwise the food is not good, it's a little dusty, around there are so many beggars there, they mop you, Okay, this is one thing, it's a digression I'd like to share with you. You know why all these beggars, people who are crippled, all these people, they come here. Why you find so many people here? You say, oh no, Bodh Gaya is not a good place, because you feel so, it makes you feel so low to feel everybody so poor, These people will not go to 5-star hotel. You know why? People, they will not allow them to stay there. People will not allow them to stay around the 5-star hotel. So this is a place of compassion. People will entertain you. So this is the indicator. Don't take it negatively. Take it very positively. That this place is so... People who come here, they come with a compassion. And the crippled people, they know that. If the dogs know that. Nowadays, you find less dogs inside the campus in the main temple. Otherwise, if you sit down, the dogs will pretend as though like they know you already. They'll come around you and they will not disturb you. They'll come around you, some of them are too naughty to sit on your lap. This is the reflection of the compassion. This place is so holy. It attracts the people who aspire for compassion. Because of that, these people, the people who come only will drawn towards somebody who love you. And the first hotel, big places, they will not, they will just kick you out. So they will not go there. Why the first hotel? They are so clean. Why environment, campus is so clean, surrounding is so clean? It's because they don't allow them. Whereas here is a compassion. So this should be taken as very positively. Yes, actually, let's say if they feel threatened to come here, they will not stay here. They will run away. They don't feel threatened. They feel that this is a home, right? They mob you. Of course, you should be very careful. They mob you. They know that you will not punch them. They know that. They're very confident. They could feel your compassion, right? Although your compassion is not the Buddhist compassion, still you are way more compassionate than people around the first hotel, right? So it's not that this place is so poor, because this is a compassionate place. Because of this compassion, the poor people who do not have any place to go, they see that this is a safe haven for them. You're getting it? But keep in mind that we should be careful. It doesn't mean that, okay, so I should be compassionate. Then you give some, then people will mob you and you will be in problem. You're getting it? Otherwise, the government can easily put them all, give them away from the whole campus, easily. But the people here, they don't allow the government to do it. It's not that the people, they protest against the government. Simply the government, they look at the people who come to this place and they see that all the people, they don't feel, they don't reject them. If they can give. If they don't give, okay, you just pass, don't throw any bad remarks, nothing, you just go. And people are very compassionate, and these people, they also feel very comfortable with you, outsiders. So in a way, this is like a silent protest against the government to say that you don't have the right to, be nasty towards these people and these animals. They're coming not for you, for us. You're getting this, your compassion. They silently spoke to the government. This, because of this, the government cannot do anything. Otherwise, if the people, if they say the people who come, the pilgrims, if they come here and then they feel so disturbed because of this, and somehow it goes to they talk about a lot, and they reach the government, and the government takes some measures to make sure that all the people, they are away, and then who will feed these people, So therefore, they feel that this is a safe haven for them. It's not because that this place is so poor, no. Because of this place is so rich in compassion that the poor people find this as a safe haven. So therefore they come. So this is how we have to look at things. And if you can give something, give, but then be very careful that people don't mob you, particularly when it is in a place where there are so many of them. Naturally, everybody wants. It's not that they want to mob you. Simply because you've given something, they know that you also give me. So they also come to you. Right? So if you see that there are a lot of them, then be a little careful. Otherwise, if you are there separately, then you can give them whatever. It's not that you have to give everything, but every little that you think you can give that. And to make sure that you are not mocked by the people there. So these are the realities that we have to know, the hidden, the more subtle realities. Okay. Okay, a short mandal offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is the Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajebe The four Dharmas, Venerable Gambupan. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four Dhammas, Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as vicious repulsive. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Ratnam Mandalagam Niratiyami. Okay, the next, the foundation of all good qualities. This is a roadmap by the same author, Lama Tsongkhapa, the 14th century great Tibetan the master. And later on, if you really want to know about emptiness, then you must not miss his commentaries. They are so succinct and lucid. And if you don't get the opportunity to meet with his commentaries, we lack the merit. Yeah, we should make sure that in this life we study the commentaries on emptiness by this great teacher. There are several commentaries, about like 5 books are there. They don't rush through all 5, one at a time. This will give you such a lucid understanding of the wisdom of emptiness. Okay. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the power. By clearly saying this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by the spirit of thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into samsara, so fall Mother my greater beings. Please bless me to say this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing my greater beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly with my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding special inside. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the Supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows of samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, essence Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru, who showed noble path, and spiritual friends who practice their long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all out and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of stages and the paths and could attain the state of Vajratara. Okay, maximum mantra. English. You are Avadukateshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, lost on top by at your feet and make prostrations. Mil me zave te che che re si che me ke de om bo jam be yam kan je ke be zo ye zo ka ba lo sa cha be sham la so wa de me za de che che re se che me ke be om bo jam be yam kan je ke be zo ye zo ka ba lo sa cha be sha la so wa de le me za te che che re se che me ke me om bo jam be yam kan je ke be zo ye zo ka ba lo sa cha be sham la so wa de. Okay, next is the actual practice, generating the mind of concept yoga. For this, there are 4 points to keep in mind. What constitutes the comprehensive and the real practice, actual practice. So thus far what we did thus far is the preparation. So having prepared well, then the actual practice is constituted of 4 things. To give some idea, that the path that we follow. For example, say that you want a house, you want to construct a house for yourself. So the house is made of the walls, windows, doors, ceiling, floor, and maybe some pillars. You agree? Okay. Then what you do is that some people will, the contractors, they will bring the rafters to support, or the, what do you call that? The rafters are required, and also the, what do you call that? Scaffolding. We need the scaffolding. Scaffolding is not a part of the house. Why do we need that? Anyone? I want to construct a house. I don't want scaffolding. Scaffolding is not a part of the house. If you bring the windows, it's fine. It's part of the house. Why do we need scaffolding? Anyone? Do we need or we don't need? Scaffolding, the rafters, before the
preliminary, it's necessary.
These are necessary. Without these, you cannot have the house. So the merit, let me not digress too much. So these are required. For that, the point is that, let's say, that finally what you really need is the real house. That is, to remove all the mental defilements, you need the counter force, the remedy. What's the remedy? What's the ultimate remedy? Tell me.
What's the ultimate remedy? Remedy to overcome all these mental defilements. Wisdom of emptiness. Given that the mental defilements, somehow they are rooted to ignorance. Either the ignorance, okay, listen, ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, or its offshoots. It becomes grosser, like attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth. Or its subtle stains, like the smell of the garlic, like mental defilements. So anger, the ignorance is at the core. From there, the offshoots can arise to become grosser afflictions, or it's subtle stains. So after all, they're all connected with the ignorance. So to get rid of ignorance, how to get into the darkness? Only through introducing light. Likewise, to remove the darkness of ignorance, it is only through introduce the light of the wisdom. This is the only way, the light of the wisdom. So like what we have to construct house, we need windows, the doors, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, the pillars, and so forth. To remove this darkness of ignorance, we need to have the wisdom of emptiness. So this wisdom, keep in mind that this wisdom should have two qualities. One is that, for example, let's say that in the night you want to read the books, particularly people who are like 40 plus, you know. So when I was in my 20s, when I was in my teenage, my eyes, I could see even the tiniest of the small letters. So hitting 40, I could not read, right, the small letters. So we need the support. We need support. So the support is that either light should be very bright, or we need to put on the glasses. So if the light is very feeble, can you read the books? You cannot read the books. So for that, what do you need? The light should be extremely bright. We need a bright light, number one, right? This light should have two qualities. One is that it should be very bright. Number two, that even though it is very bright, but from the corner of your house there is a wind blowing, and your candle light, the flame, this is flickering. When it is flickering, can you read the books? You cannot. Why? It strains your eyes. So what is required? Make sure that the light is very steady. So this wisdom should have two qualities. One, this wisdom should be extremely sharp, and then number two, that it is very steady. These are two qualities required of your wisdom. So the sharpness is determined by to what extent you can penetrate through the reality. That is the sharpness. And the steadiness we have to practice separately. So what we study as the wisdom here, this is to build your sharpness. And then now what are we going to do? The meditation. Okay, the meditation, that is for the steadiness of the wisdom. Okay, so these two combined together, you get extremely stable, sharp wisdom. That alone has the capacity to get rid of the mental defilements. Getting it? Okay, now imagine that you have an extremely sharp axe, and there's a poisonous tree growing there, right? And the axe is lying there. So does it? The poisonous tree, the wind blowing through these, the poisonous tree, skin rashes are created. But there's X there, right? So why the tree is not getting cut? Why? Because the X will not cut it by itself. You need somebody to pick this up, somebody who has the enthusiasm to remove this. That person must be there, right? And the enthusiasm, there too, right? If the tree is too huge, right? You think, oh, I must cut this, and then you hit it 2 or 3 times. You see that, no way, it'll take me like months and months. No resilience, you quit, right? So what kind of enthusiasm is required, right? Okay, for the Tibetans, the transcript, if some of you are here, I don't know, right? And through you may even send a message. Yes, Tibetans, Geshe was talking about the Tibetans transcribe this. 99% dropped, right? Are you one of them, right? You can ask them. Okay, So there, so the resilience, this is very strange. When you don't, actually you don't confront with the situation, you think that you have this resilience. Yes, yeah, I can do it. Yes, they're so enthusiastic. Yes, we'll be a service to Tibet House. Anything that I can do for Tibet House, I will do that. This was the motivation. And yet, it tests the power of your resilience. In 1 week, 99% dropped. Out of like 22 or 30 people, only two continued. Only two continued. Right? And that too, what we said is that, okay, first, the people start dropping, right? Dropping. And then we said, then the one who took charge of the whole responsibility reported to me about this, how the people dropping now. Then they suggested if we can pay the transcribers. I said, yes, pay, right? Let's pay. And even payment must be made very decent. Decent meaning that it should be the standard payment, not just small payment, not just small honorarium, like real salary pay. And the people started dropping and the rate slowed down. Rate of the dropping slowed down, which means people hold on to it. And then after the next 2-3 weeks, again the same rate, even the salary, right? Actually, it's amazing. The salary is very good enough, and you have your own work, right? And you get the salary. You are getting double salary. It's almost the same salary amount. Some people, they really get good amount. In fact, to some people, if you can manage it too well, then you can get the double of what you are getting from your workplace. But with this salary, you have a pleasant feeling. When you get the salary, pleasant feeling, and the lack of resilience, unpleasant feeling. When these two are compared, the unpleasant feeling because of the lack of resilience that far supersedes the joy of the salary, so that they dropped. Even with the high salary, still they dropped. Finally, only 2% reached the shore, right? Completed the journey. Only 2, right? Okay, later on, then I think that later some more people joined. Yeah. Okay. So the point is that we need what? We need the somebody to pick this up, and then when you chop it, the rate at which you are cutting the tree and the size of the tree, you see that no way, I cannot do you will drop because of lack of resilience. Now, what is required to make sure that this tree is cut? What is required? Tell me. The very sharp X plus. Hey, say something. Huh? So, how to get this effort? Very strong enthusiasm. Very strong enthusiasm. Very strong. Resilience is required. Great. And for Dharma practice, keep in mind that without the resilience, you will not reach anywhere. Right? Oh, I feel tired. I thought that, it's going to be a nice experience. There are so many mosquitoes, and in the temple we cannot go, we cannot take the car up to the temple. I have to walk, right? And then what is these 3-wheelers? What is this 3-wheeler? Right? It's so dusty. If this is your resilience, you will not reach anywhere. It's not only Dharma, even the non-Dharma works, you cannot reach anywhere. Okay, so we need some resilience. And the strongest of the resilience is with the strongest enthusiasm. And who has the greater enthusiasm? A mother with 1 child or mother with 10 children who are in a place of the starvation. Who's going to be more resilient? Mother with one child or mother with 10 children? Mother with 10 children, because she has 10 responsibilities. 10 plus 1, right? Sometimes even the husband, total, 11 babies. 10 children plus 1 baby, total 11 babies sometimes. Right? This is what many girls say. Yeah. Okay. This keeping aside this. So what I'm saying is that no doubt the one with the greater number of the children will have a greater enthusiasm. You're getting it? So the Bodhisattva, and what is the greatest of the enthusiasm? Someone who takes charge of all the sentient beings. What is that? What is that enthusiasm? Bodhicitta. Only with the bodhicitta you can pick this eggs up and then cut the poisonous root of afflicted cognitive obscurations. Otherwise not. If your resilience is less, you can at the most cut a small tree, small poisonous tree, which is the afflictive obscurations. Cognitive obscurations, they're extremely hard and so difficult, right? Some trees, they are too strong, then what is that, too hard that you hit it and it makes a sound like a metal, right? Oh, no hope, right? You just give up. But the one with the resilience, very strong resilience, will just continue, will not give up. Okay, so what we require is the first one is what? The sharpness of the intelligence required, that is the wisdom. Then the steadiness of wisdom is required, but that is single-pointed meditation. Then enthusiasm required, tremendous enthusiasm required, and the greatest enthusiasm is bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is required. And for the bodhicitta is for all beings. For this, without the experience on yourself, how can you think of helping all others? So, first you need to think of yourself, that is renunciation. You're getting it? So these 4 things are required. 4 things are required. Otherwise, if you don't have the experience of what suffering is with respect to you, you cannot empathize with others. You getting it? So there's a Tibetan story which, okay, there are many Tibetans here. They know the story. The others, non-Tibetans, once there was a couple, and the lady had acute toothache. How many of you had the experience of toothache? Raise hands. How acute is that? It's nice? Not nice. What is that like? Extremely severe, so painful. Then the lady was crying. The wife was crying in pain. And the husband said, what happened? And the lady said that I have a toothache. What is toothache? Tooth is just a piece of bone. Well, how can the bone have a pain? Right? You are just faking. And one day the husband had the toothache. And he was crying. And the lady said, hey, what are you crying? He said, I have a toothache. And the lady just repeated the same thing what he said. The tooth is just a piece of bone. How can the bone have a pain? Right? And the man said that the female bone and the male bone are different. Okay, so what I'm saying is that because the man, he did not have the experience before. He could not empathize with the lady's pain. Right? Later on when he had the experience, then he realized what is the toothache means. Okay, so first you have to experience yourself of the suffering. You know what the suffering is so acutely, and wanting to get away from suffering is known as renunciation. And then with that experience, you think of other sentient beings, you empathize. That is, then it turns into bodhicitta. So we need the wisdom supported by the single-pointed meditation, and the enthusiasm bodhicitta supported by renunciation. 4 things are required. You're getting it? Okay. So we'll do today we'll do a quick single-pointed meditation. And for single-pointed meditation, some people, they just do it without proper guidance, proper instructions. It is very dangerous. Some people say that I learned meditation through the YouTube. This is a disaster. Never do that. And once you know how to do your meditation, Once you know it well, then later on you can watch, YouTube to see the different aspects and so forth. That's fine, but initially it must be a proper guidance. So for that, and there are so many traditions there. It's not that the one is correct and the other is wrong. One is superior, other is inferior. As long as the tradition coming from the genuine, authentic, the lineage is fine. Be it Hindu, the meditation, Jain meditation, Buddhist meditation, Hindu, Muslim meditation, or Christian meditation, or the Sikh meditation, Buddhist meditation is fine. Everything is fine as long as it has the ability to keep your mind stable and steady. So that's the whole purpose. Okay, with this in mind, what we are doing here is on the basis with 4 points, not a base. For the single point of meditation, 4 points to keep in mind. Number 1 is the body posture. Number 2 is focal point. And remember these points. Number 2 is focal point. Number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Let me repeat. Body posture, focal point, identifying the errors of meditation, and applying the remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points to keep in mind. What are they? Number 1, body posture. Number 2, focal point. Number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. Number 4, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Okay, what is body posture? Body posture, again there are various postures. The one that we are doing is known as the Vajrayana body posture, which is very common to Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism, Sikhism. Okay, so it is the cross-leg position. Just try this. This is for somebody who's meditating, somebody who meditates for the extended period of time. For them, this cross-leg position is very helpful. And those of us who have backache problem, knee problem, don't force yourself. We should be very realistic. We should be very practical to make sure that you don't injure yourself more. And this cross-leg position, initially, and the people who are already like 30 plus, for them you may find it a little difficult if you are not used to that before, but you try this. How? The left foot should be on the right leg. Left foot should be on your right leg, and the right foot should be on your left leg. So this is the sequence. Left foot should be on your right leg, number 1. Then the right foot should be on your left leg. This is the posture, and the posture meaning the cross-leg posture or the Vajra posture. And if you are doing this for the first time, you'll feel, no doubt you'll feel painful, but try it, and then within a few seconds you will start having the pain. And once you start feeling pain, you again release it, and sit comfortably. Once the pain is gone, again bring it back. This is how you train, and over time you can sit very comfortably. And in fact, you'll see that sitting in this position you can sit for like 2 hours, 3 hours, very comfortably. Okay. This is one thing. Then the next is your body upright. This is extremely important. Whereas if you cannot sit cross-legged, the way I described, don't push yourself too hard. By practicing this for about a week, if it doesn't happen, then it's not necessary. You can still meditate. You still can meditate, but what is important is the body upright. Body should be upright. Never keep your body like a hunchback. And in a meditation, don't lean against the support. Keep your body upright. Whereas if you have backache problem, you are exempted from this posture. You can lean against the support. Those who do not have the backache problem, you always, even though you are sitting on a chair, but make sure that you sit upright without leaning against the support, and keep upright. And this is extremely important, because you can see particularly when you learn how to meditate and you become good at it, in time you will see the difference between sitting upright and sitting hunchback and leaning against support, you will see difference. Sit upright, not leaning against support, your body, the biology, the physical, gross physical posture is proper. Then the subtle energy, so the channels which we cannot see through your, let's say, the neuroscience, we cannot see that, but there are channels there in your body. Channels become straightened. Because the channels become straightened, then the physiologically speaking, the energy flows through the channels very, smoothly. Energy flows very smoothly. Energy and your mind, these two are very closely connected. And the mind will, when the energy flows smoothly, your mind will feel the freshness, alertness. So this is tremendous, and you have to employ a very fresh and alert mind for meditation. So therefore, body posture is very important, particularly back upright. And the next part is your head tilted forward a little bit like this. Okay. Then your eyes not closed. Oftentimes people, people share with us very strange experiences in meditation. In some cases, like vertigo, and so forth. So in most cases, you are doing the meditation with the eyes closed. I always, when people report these problems to me, the first question that I ask is, do you do the meditation with the eyes closed or open? And almost 100% of the people, they say that with eyes closed. So with eyes closed, this is a problem. You can have very strange experiences which are not necessarily very healthy. So you have to keep your eyes open, 45 half open, and 45 degrees cast down, and keep it in a very natural state. Don't strain your eyes. Just keep it half open, 45 degrees cast down, and finish. Ignore this. Okay. Then your mouth, the tongue, the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in your mouth. And the teeth and the lips, keep them into a natural course and breathe normally. Don't force your breath, don't control your breath. Let the breath flow normally, very naturally. Okay, and your right hand on your left hand, and the tips of the two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the two hands on your lap in a restful state. This is your body posture. Good. Number one. What is number two? Focal point. What are you going to meditate on? This is the point. So, given that this is a single pointed meditation, or technically referred to as the shamatha meditation. Shamatha meditation. In Tibetan, shine. Okay, shamatha meditation. There are so many versions there for the focal point. What we're going to do is a very simple one, yet very effective. Okay, what we do is that we do two things, and over time, if you cannot do two things with multitasking, then you can choose one of them, but don't give up so easily. What are the two things? One, you visualize a tiny white dot, 1 mm or 2 mm in diameter, between your nose and upper lip. Okay, just touch this spot between the nose and upper lip. Just touch it. Don't look at it. Just touch it. Look at me, and touch the spot. Do you feel something? You feel that. Okay, your eyes are not looking at it, but you know that you are feeling this. Likewise, scratch your back with your finger. Scratch. Do you feel the scratch? Your eyes are not looking at it. But the body sense is sensing it, and your mental consciousness is knowing this. Yes, I could feel the scratch. So your eyes are not meditating. What should meditate? Which mind should be employed to meditate is the mental consciousness, which is aware that I'm scratching behind, right? So that mental consciousness is to be employed for your meditation, not your eyes. Eyes just keep it open, and the 45 degrees cast down, and just ignore. Your mental consciousness should be employed. So what is mental consciousness? While you're looking at me, can you think of your mother, or can you think of somebody somebody just in front of you, with your eyes cast on me, with your eyes cast on me, still can you think of somebody in front of you, beside other than me? Can you think of somebody? So that person that you are seeing is not seen by your eye contact. Your eyes are not seeing that. So there's another agent which is seeing that. That is known as the mental consciousness. You're getting it? That mental consciousness is what you're going to use for meditation. Your eyes are not meditating. You're getting it? Okay. So what you'll be doing is that we just, with this mental consciousness, you focus on a tiny white dot, 1 mm or 2 mm in diameter, between nose and upper lip. Your eyes are just cast down. Your eyes should not be looking at it here. It can strain your eyes. It's not healthy. Just keep your eyes 45 degrees cast down. Your mental consciousness is looking at this, the tiny white dot. Multitasking. While you focus your mind on this tiny dot between your nose and upper lip, simultaneously you count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 1. Again breathe in, breathe out, cycle 2. This is what we're going to do. Count for like 21 times. 21 times is like 1.5 minutes. And then when you're doing that by yourself, on your own, don't do it for too long. Just like 21 cycles is good enough. 21 cycles would take you 1.5 minutes. And keep a short break. Keep a short break like few seconds, 10 seconds, 14 seconds. And again, do the next set of the 21 cycles. As a beginner, you do this 21 cycles. Don't do it for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes or half an hour. Some people say that I started to do the meditation. And how do you do the meditation? Half an hour, 1 hour. This is totally wrong. So meditation is something, there are two things. Something is better than nothing and nothing is better than something. You're getting it? And meditation is, it belongs to not something is better than nothing. It belongs to the category, nothing is better than something. You're getting it? So if you don't do it properly, better not do it. If you want to do it properly, which means that don't do it like half an hour, 1 hour. No. As a beginner, do it just for like 21 cycles. In group, you can do it for like 5 minutes. Because in group is very different. Alert is very different. Psychologically, you know that people around me, if I fall asleep, people, is weird. Right? So this is psychological there within you. This will protect you to keep you more alert. But when you're by yourself, the awareness is missing. So you can easily slip into laxity and the other problems of the meditation. Okay. So these are two things that you should be doing. Number 1 is visualizing a tiny white dot between your nose and upper lip, and then multitasking. While visualizing this, simultaneously count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2, this is what we're going to do. Okay, what's next? Identifying the errors of meditation. What are the potential errors of meditation? 2. Mental laxity and mental excitement. Mental laxity and mental excitement. What is mental laxity? Mental laxity is the inactivity of your mind. Inactivity of the mind. What is excitement? Overactivity of the mind. That mind becomes too discursive, distracted, scattered. That is mental excitement. And the mental laxity is the inactivity of your mind. That your mind becomes heavy, lethargic, and the sinking, and the mind becomes the foggy, and mind becomes the sleepy. These are the mental laxity. These are the various levels of mental laxity. So, if your mind initially, our mind is prone to fall into one of these two problems, either inactivity of mind, the heaviness of mind, or overactive mind. Your mind is too distracted, scattered. Your mind is bound to fall into one of these two problems. If these two things happen, don't worry, go for number 4. What's number 4? Applying the remedies to overcome the errors, right? Remedy is twofold. One is introspection and the other one is mindfulness. Introspection, mindfulness. What is introspection? What is mindfulness? I'm going to quickly explain this here. Say you have a pet dog and you expect the pet dog to be around you, and you notice that the pet dog is no more with you. It disappeared. So what do? You go in search of the pet dog. You go in search of the pet dog to see where the pet dog is. So the mind, otherwise to be meditating, meant to meditate, this mind is like your pet dog. And it should be around you. It should be on the focal point. And instead of being on focal point, it disappeared. Right? So you have to go in search of what this mind is doing. The pet dog, like the mind is doing. Where is it? It should be meditating. It's not meditating. Where is it? Is it distracted or is it falling asleep? You have to go to check it. Right? So once you find the dog somewhere, what do? The job of the introspection is done. The job of the introspection is to check what your mind is doing, what this dog is doing, where the dog is. Once you find the dog, then the job of the introspection is done. Introspection in Tibetan is Sheshin. Introspection in Tibetan is Sheshin. Job of the Sheshin or the job of the introspection is done. Then what is the next? What you do next is tie the dog with the rope. Rope is like the mindfulness, the next one. Mindfulness is like the rope. Tie the dog with the rope and bring it back to home, bring it back home and tie the rope to the pillar of the home. Likewise, bring the mind with the rope of the mindfulness, bring the mind back to the intended object of meditation, tied there, which means place the mind on the intended object of meditation. This is the job of the mindfulness. Mindfulness in Tibetan is Tempa. So these two combined together, in Tibetan we call this Tenshe. Tempa and Sheshin. Tenshe. Okay. Actually Tenshe is not one thing. This is a combination of two things, mindfulness and introspection. Okay. Done? Then later on, and if you can do this meditation on a regular basis, that will be extremely helpful. And it will keep your mind relaxed, calm and peaceful, almost like throughout the day. Okay, but I say, for example, like some of you must have joined the 10-day Vipassana course, and this Vipassana course is extremely good. And if you're doing that, you just continue with this. What I taught you, you can know this, but it's not necessary that you have to do both. You can do your Vipassana meditation, that's fine. But the thing is that our mind requires not only the single point of meditation, it also requires the analytical meditation. Both are required. Otherwise, if you just focus on the single point of meditation all the time, like the Vipassana all the time, then there is some drawbacks there. You're getting it? For example, this meditation that I taught you now, if you don't include analytical meditation, if you just do this all the time, there's the one side effect there. There's one drawback there. What is that drawback? I'll share with you. In Pune, the Sharminaji was there doing that retreat, and the Vajradadu. Who else? Audrey was there, Niraji was there. Okay, yes, Chanjula was there. Okay, so there's one gentleman, I'm not going to specify his name, and he is very, he told me very honestly. He said that after taking the 10-day Vipassana course, he continued meditation for 3 years. And he told me that, oops, the battery, Kamala. And he said that before he started this meditation, his mind was a little hyper. Hyper meaning restless or scattered here and there. And then with 10-day retreat, and then after 3 years of constant practice, and then he said that this the mind being very hyper, it stopped. And mind being very peaceful and calm. And experientially, he was sharing something. He said that now his mind is extremely calm, peaceful, but the side effect, now he said that he has lost the sense of proactivity. The proactivity. Say, even if there is something, some emergency there, otherwise there should be this proactive stimulation happening that you should jump to tackle the situation. No, it's very calm. The fire is there, still you're very calm. You're not affected. And then the two people fighting, still you're okay. He said that this is what happened. So this is because of what is known as falling into the subtle laxity. You getting it? So when is the greater likelihood to go to save somebody? When you are in deep sleep and then somebody forces you to wake up, or when you are very fresh? Which of the two situations you are more likely to go to help the person? When you are fresh. When you do sleep, somebody is there, still you are going to go to sleep, right? So this is known as the accumulation of laxity. You're getting it? This is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And then if you go to the extreme, even that is very gross. If you go to the subtle version of the laxity, it's very dangerous. You want to know what it is like? You want to know what it's like? Yes. Subtle laxity, if you're not careful with checking the flaws, errors of meditation, and check and stop them, and you just focus on this single point of meditation all the time without the inclusion of the analytical meditation, it can be very dangerous. And then what he shared is a very gross version. But he identified that. He's very smart. Otherwise, many people, they don't even identify that. And because that you have changed a very calm and peaceful person, and people may think you're a great yogi. You're not a great yogi who's not sensitive to what is happening around. Right? There's a fire burning, there's a house on fire, still okay. Yeah, this happens. So, your mind can become very slow because of no brain activity. You're getting it? Your mind can become very slow. It's very dangerous. On a subtle level, where your meditation becomes very deep and the laxity, the very subtle laxity creeps in, and you just stay in this experience for too long, your mind will become extremely slow. This is known as we will learn about form realm, the desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. The three realms are there. In the formless realm, the meditation is extremely subtle, and what we experience now, okay, now I feel calm. This is very gross and very subtle meditations there. And in that state, they live in that state for like millions of years. Not in the human realm, in the formless realm. But even in the formless realm, they just stay in this experience, very subtle, calm state for millions of years, that they built an inertia to stay static. You're getting initiated to inertia. If the body is not in motion, okay, what are the two versions of inertia? Hey, young monk? Anyone? Sanjukta? Yes.
Inertia of rest.
Yes, inertia of rest and uniform motion. If something is at rest, it will continue. The inertia is for the object to stay resting for good, unless until there's external force. And the second inertia is, what is the object movement will be in uniform movement unless until there is some external force to stop that. You getting it? So you build the inertia to the mind not moving at all, just sitting like this. So what can happen? That person, if die, take birth in the human realm, then the mind works so slow that you say, hey, what is your name? Right? Instead of saying, my name is Kyasa. No. First we just keep staring at you. Right? I will ask, what did you ask? My name? Yes. Dorji. Very slow. You're getting it? So, in fact, this is what we learn in the text, that these things happen. And actually, one time I met with somebody who had a brain damage, some problem with the brain, and because of the heavy medication, the mind works so slow, right? So the person came to ask me some questions about her, her Dharma practice and where to stay and so forth, need my help. And I was talking very normal and she's not responding at all. And I thought that what, she's not happy with what I'm saying? And no. And she said, just sitting like this for some time, few seconds, then she would ask me, what did you ask me? Right? Then I would say that, so what's the problem? Again, sit like this. So the process is so slow, like the computers, the computers that we had like 40 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, right? If you give a quick command, short circuit, right? So you have to give the command very slowly, and stay there for a while, then the computer operates, and then the result comes out. If you're so fast, right, don't think that it's like today's computer in those days. So this was exactly how her mind was working, very slow. Okay, so this is because of it can be because of the damage to the brain, or it can be because of your past habits of meditation with unskilled meditation with the accumulation of mental laxity. You getting it? Okay. So, but don't be very scared. Only thing is that if you follow through these of a genuine tradition and then know the bigger picture of the need for single point meditation and the shamatha meditation and the Lama Tsongkhapa, we have picked up many of the compositions here, one of which he describes what should be the ideal meditation. He described that, what he said is that finally your mind should become Buddha's mind, yes? And the whole purpose for us to meditate, for meditation, is to make our mind the Buddha's mind. You agree or not agree? Huh? You agree? Okay. If you want to make the Buddha's mind is, what is that like? That they say no force can stop that. So if it just needs the focus, it'll be 100% focus. It will not move. If it is move, it moves so fast to know all phenomena simultaneously. You're getting it? So it should have this quality where if you ask it to sit, it can sit so firmly that no force can affect it. If you want to make it move, it can move so fast. Because the Buddha's mind should know all phenomena simultaneously, yes? Every atom in the universe, however far away the galaxies, the galaxies are, maybe like from your place, it may be like million light years away from you. Still your mind should reach there. It should be so fast. So this should be kind of the training that you need, where your mind, if you say the example that Lama Tsongkhapa gave is that if you give the instruction to the mind to sit, it should sit like Mount Meru, when no wind or nothing can move it. If you want the mind to move, it should move like the fastest of the horses. In those days, horse is the example of the swiftness or the fastness. So you should move like the most, the well-trained, the fastest, the horse. It should be so fast. So this should be the training. One time when I was sitting for my personal retreat in some other place, I was having my lunch and I was facing the window, see a beautiful, the very holy sight there, and then suddenly there was a tiny bee, and I was so fascinated. The bee moved so fast, and in the air, in the space, the tiny bee moved so fast and just sit like this, just sit there. So how many of you say if you are to run 100 meters dash, so say you run from here to here, this point, 100 meters dash, how many of you can run the fastest, and when you reach that line, you just sit there, don't overshoot? How many can do that? You cannot do that. You're getting, even Usain Bolt cannot do that. He runs so fast, but he has to cross the line and run extra, which is not required. But he had to do it because his body does not have that skill. And this tiny bee, wow, has this skill. He just moves so fast and sit there like this. It did not overshoot. I was so fast. Wow, this is how we should train our mind, where it moves so fast and it has to stop there without overshooting. Wow, this is an amazing example that I can see now. This is how our mind should be trained. So single-pointed meditation teaches you how to sit. It will not teach you how to move so fast. And analytical meditation will teach you how to move so fast. So we require these two together. You getting it? Okay, 5 minutes meditation. Okay, let us turn to page 50. What we do is that from tomorrow we will take the aspiration bodhisattva vow the way we did yesterday. But today, due to constraints of time, we cannot do that. But let us, okay, with folded hands, let us make a very quick commitment. I'll say this line and we'll all say this 3 times together. It can be very superficial, it doesn't matter, which means, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. When you say, may I become Buddha, it simply means that, may my Buddha nature, the seed of perfection within me, that it becomes manifest fully. That I experience the total fearlessness and infinite happiness, and that I can share this with all the other beings. So this is a Sanskrit word, Buddha, is the awakened one. Then may I be awakened fully. Anybody can be awakened, not only Buddhist. Anybody can be awakened, provided you follow the proper way to awaken yourself with the wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta. Okay, with this mind, and let's reinforce visualization of all the Buddhist bodhisattvas, particularly Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings who are source of inspiration for you, pertaining to generating compassion, universal compassion and wisdom. And they're so loving, caring, and your 2 parents and all your children, your family members, and all dear mother sentient beings living on the side, joining you in this. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Okay, with this, just stay in this experience of the bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind in this world, for a while. Okay, with this bodhicitta spirit, let us turn to page 50 and recite the verses together. And while reflecting on meanings, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I do successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the bodhisattva practices. Okay, let us turn to page 52, the dedication prayer. I dedicate the matter of Daskaka to truth of realization abilities in the prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to upholding the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all life through the force of this merit, and never separate from the whole bliss of the mind and ego, and accomplish all the stations of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in 2 stations. Draw my 2 directions, vast the space that I amass, working the effort of this practice for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds must rise without ignorance. Gate, gate.
Bodhisvaha